We have some breaking news on Dolphins today. Miami has traded for linebacker Benardrick McKinney from the Houston Texans, and they're going to be sending away former first-round pick Shaq Lawson. Now, we're going to get into these details. Now, I'm just going to say this. We don't have all the contract or all the details yet in terms of the late-round picks, but this one went down from Adam Schefter. He broke it down here with the Dolphins. They receive an inside linebacker. The Texans, they get Shaq Lawson, and again, this is for late-round picks. We'll try to figure out what exactly these picks are if need be. We'll keep you guys updated here. It's really interesting, though, considering the fact that Benardrick, when fully healthy, this dude is an absolutely tackling machine, and they're going to have to pay him $7 million this upcoming season. The Texans, they get also a good young player. Sure, I don't know if he's quite lived up to his first-round hype, but I'll also say this. I do think it's funny, about a month ago, Deshaun Watson and Shaq Lawson, they're hanging out in Miami, and everyone's like, all right, Deshaun, he's coming to Miami. Well, maybe now we see that he was just going to Houston. So let me know down in the comments who ended up winning this trade here. If you think it's the Miami Dolphins getting Benardrick McKinney, who, let me just add this, when fully healthy, the last 4 seasons, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, has had at least 95 tackles. Or Shaq Lawson. The Texans definitely need some help, especially up front. He's also a versatile end who can also play, obviously, outside linebacker. So go ahead. Let me know who won the trade. Type MIA for the Miami Dolphins, or I want you to type HOU for the Houston Texans. Let's look at this now from the Dolphins side of view. He was an average linebacker in 2020. I'm going to say that he was average because he was dealing with a shoulder injury. We've seen him been able to go through some tough injuries before. He's at age 28, played in only 234 snaps last season before ending the season on IR with that shoulder injury. But, as I mentioned before, when he is out on the football field, if you're going to be wondering who was the guy that made that tackle for the Houston Texans, chances are it was McKinney. So since 2020 was hampered with an injury and was only able to play in 4 games, let's look at his numbers in 2019. 101 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, 2 fumble recoveries. He also had 1 forced fumble. Let's look at 2018, which was the season that he made the Pro Bowl. 105 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss. The reason why he made the Pro Bowl and the reason why this is his best year, despite in 2016 him putting up 129 tackles, it was his ability to be a lot better, not only getting after the quarterback, but also being able to defend the pass. You know that the Dolphins want to be able to have a player that they feel is, well, pretty versatile. They ended up moving on from Kyle Van Noy. You do obviously save some money here, but if you're going to pay McKinney, I'm a believer that you made this move because you're also hoping that you can get some of this coverage ability that you were able to see in a little bit of 2018 and as well in 2017. So $7.94 million for a linebacker that's basically when he's proven to have over 14 games, giving you more than 95 tackles, it's definitely something to be interested in. So when this thing came across here, I was like, okay, my one-word reaction was surprised, because I just did not anticipate them to move on from Shaq. From everything that I knew from Brian Flores, from everything that I've heard from their defense, they liked Shaq Lawson a lot. Maybe they just like McKinney a little bit more. So go down in the comments, let me know. What is your one-word reaction to the trade? So now you move on from Lawson, who in 2020 had 32 tackles, 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Only 26 years old. Obviously, this is a player that they were hoping, I think, to get a little bit more out of when they drafted him in the first round, pick number 19. But it also tells me this. Maybe Houston is trying to get a little bit more versatile as well. Maybe they plan on running more 4-3 or 3-4, because that's what Shaq Lawson, I thought, does very well. So let's look at now the updated linebacking depth chart here for Miami. I'm curious to see if Vince Beagle is going to be the starter at weak linebacker here. That's kind of where we had Shaq Lawson slotted in. Now you're going to insert McKinney at your left inside linebacker. Jerome Baker's kind of a tough player to figure out. Obviously was a player that I talked about as a potential cap cut candidate. And then Andrew Van Ginkel, he's your more than likely going to be your replacement for, well, Kyle Van Noy. All right, y'all, we're breaking it down for you here on Dolphins Today. If you want breaking news right when it happens, you got to hit that big red button that says subscribe. If you are already subbed to the channel, I want to say this. We hit 13,000 subscribers. This channel continues to grow and grow. Y'all are doing a phenomenal job, but this is the off season. this is the time to be here. This is the time to be watching. If we know here at Chat Sports you guys are watching in the middle of March, those are the fans that are the absolute diehards, and those are the fans that I want to go ahead and subscribe. Miami Dolphin fans, if you're excited for NFL free agency, I want you to do this before I get into the latest news and rumors around some potential players that the Dolphins could go out and get in free agency. I want you to like this video. I'll tell you what, I absolutely love free agency. It's going to be an absolute awesome offseason, so if you're excited, I want you to like this video. Let's talk about a potential player that Miami could go out and sign. It's quarterback Tyrod Taylor. If you want to let me know if it's Tyrod or Tyrod, hey, let me know. So the report here is that the Dolphins, they could actually go out and sign Taylor, bring him in to be a solid backup to Tua. From everything that I've read, the Dolphins were very impressed by the way that Taylor handled his whole, we'll call it a situation, if you will, this past year where he was supposed to start, wasn't able to start, that he probably could have sued the Los Angeles Chargers, but that's a whole different type of discussion here. They really like the way that he handled him, and they've liked the way that he's handled his entire career. Brian Flores, he has always been somebody that has wanted, I believe, a mobile quarterback and likes mobile quarterbacks. And if you're looking for somebody that can put Tua underneath his wing, I do believe that Tyrod Taylor is a great option. The other reason why this move could potentially make some sense here is they just need depth. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you were to ask me would I rather have Fitzpatrick or Tyrod, I would say Fitz because he's a better quarterback in my opinion. However, if you're looking to save a little bit of money, maybe the Taylor move does make a little sense. But you have Tua, you have Tyrod, so does it actually, make a little bit of sense? I do think so, because he is going to be that cheaper option. Because I don't think now you have any conversations on whether or not is Tua the starter, is Tua the guy. If you make this move, he is 100% the guy. Tua, that is. All right, so what do y'all think about this? Should Miami go out and bring in another veteran backup quarterback like Tyrod Taylor? Or should they go out and maybe get somebody a little bit younger? Or do you go in the draft? I don't recommend the draft. Y for yes and for no, should Miami sign Taylor? So do I think that Miami should go out and get him? If you were interested in 2019, it's potentially there. However, I don't really know if I'm going to offer him that big of a contract. I know Brian Flores, once again, is interested in the mobile quarterbacks, and Taylor, it would be a great fit with Tua. So what exactly is Taylor's value, right? I mean, anytime we talk about quarterbacks, anytime we talk about free agency, the value matters, right? Or else anybody would be interested in just about any player. I do believe that he is one of the top free agent quarterbacks on the market. I am curious, though, if a Cam Newton deal does kind of maybe ruin's a strong word, impact Taylor's overall contract. Because when I saw Cam Newton get $14 million, sure, it's like a base of, I'm going to guess, like 5, and then he's got all the incentives to get up to about $14 million. If I'm looking at Taylor and I'm going to be like, hey, man, you've done a lot of good things in your past career, rushing, passing. I will also say that he's been a very unlucky quarterback where he's been able to get a job and then they bring in some other younger guy. Now he's going to be the backup. You offer him $5 million a year, 1-year deal to really be able to help groom Tua and to be what you ultimately wanted Tua to be when you drafted him number 5 overall in 2020. So what do you all think here? What are Tyrod Taylor's market value? What would be the contract you would offer him? My contract would be 1 year, $5 million. Take it or leave it. Would you maybe give him 2 years? Maybe give him, a little bit less since you give him more years. Let me know down in the comments overall what you think Tyrod Taylor's market value would be. Now, if you guys want more videos here on Dolphins Today, should you subscribe? Yes, you absolutely should. But I also made this video last week, the top 25 players that Miami could go out and target. What I tried to figure out is who the biggest needs were for this football team, and then give you the top 5 players at those top needs and overall interest that the Dolphins would have. So seriously, please go check out the video. I think y'all would like it. Now, today's show would not be possible without our sponsor, BetUS. If you guys are wondering what BetUS is, it is the #1 sports book partner on the internet, and they've hooked us up with this unbelievable deal. Who likes free money? I know I personally do. If you deposit $100 at chatsports.com/bet, you're going to get $125 for free. So how do you get the deal? Chatsports.com/bet, promo code Dolphins125. It gets you 125% deposit bonus. And if that deal's not sweet enough, we're here to help you out a little bit more. How about this? If you guys go to chatsports.com/bet, promo code Dolphins125, deposit at least $100, we're going to give all new BetUS customers a free Dolphins jersey of their choosing. That sounds pretty good. Is there a catch? Maybe. The only catch is you got to have some fun betting on March Madness. That's all I want you guys to do. We're in the middle of March, and some people are like, why are you guys still talking about football? Football's 365 days out of the year. And if 2020 taught me anything, I have never been more excited for college basketball than I've ever have in my entire life. So how about this? Let me know down in the comments, who do y'all think is going to win the NCAA tournament? I'm not much of a college basketball person. Growing up, I watched a lot of J.J. Redick and Duke, and, well, I don't think J.J. Redick or Duke's going to be playing in this year. So how about this? Let me know who y'all think is going to win the NCAA tournament. I might steal some of your answers. And if you go ahead and bet at BetUS, who you think is going to win the tournament, maybe you want to make some other bets on March Madness, do all that, and we're going to hook you up with a free Dolphins jersey. If anything that I said was confusing, or if you go ahead and do it, email me, dolphins@chatsports.com, to redeem your offer, okay? So just, if you need the details on it, if everything I said was a lot, I'll send it to you in email form, dolphins@chatsports.com. I'm really curious, though. I guess maybe I'm going to root for Kansas. Is that okay with all y'all? No? Producer Brett's saying no. All right, seriously, email me, dolphins@chatsports.com. Free agency is right around the corner. Let's get in now to the latest Miami Dolphins news and rumors. You're watching Dolphins Today with Mitchell Renz. So there was a report that came out from Bleacher Report where they go on and they predict all the top free agents and where they could potentially sign. The prediction? Kenny Golladay, he's going to sign with the Miami Dolphins. The biggest reasons were they're still looking for an upgrade for Tua. They're looking for either in the draft. They're looking for a top wide receiver. The bottom line is this. They need somebody else. Well, I'll say this. When healthy, Kenny Golladay is a top 15 wide receiver. I really wanted to be able to say top 10, but I need to be able to see it on a little bit more of a consistent basis. 6'4", 214 pounds, only 27 years old, and when he was first coming out of Northern Illinois, nobody really knew who this guy was. Blew up in the preseason, had a few solid games, and then in 2019, I really thought you were able to see his overall talent. People thought Marvin Jones was going to be the number one receiver. Kenny Golladay said, you know what, Marvin, hold my beer. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to dominate. 65 targets, 1,190 yards, and 11 touchdowns. The 11 touchdowns that led the National Football League. And if you're Tua, you are looking to overall get better and you're looking to improve. Yes, the 11 touchdowns led football in terms of receiving touchdowns. So overall, though, when you're Tua, you'd have a big-time receiver, Preston Williams at 6'5". You'd have Devontae Parker, 6'5". Mike Gesicki, 6'6". I mean, the biggest reason here why I do think Kenny Golladay would be a great fit is because they definitely need a receiver. And from what I see, they're looking for somebody either next to Devontae Parker to play X or to just be that number one wide receiver. So when I look at the top free agent targets at receiver for the Dolphins, Kenny Golladay is number one. That does not mean that he's going to be the number one guy that they go out and get. I'm saying an overall talent and overall fit. He'd be the number one guy I would go out and pursue if you had the money. Will Fuller, Juju Smith-Schuster have also been two players connected. Curtis Samuel, in my opinion, is probably the best bang for your buck receiver. And the reason why T.Y. Hilton continues to get brought up around Miami, he grew up in Florida, went to Florida International University, so apparently there's some connections there, but no disrespect to T.Y. I'm going to much rather spend my money on Samuel or go big with Kenny Golladay. So go ahead, type your votes in here. Should Miami sign Kenny Golladay? I want you to type S for sign, or I want you to type P for pass. If you're going to type S for sign, keep this in mind then. Who do they go out and draft? Does that mean they're not going to take a guy like Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts? Does that mean they're absolutely then going to take somebody like Penei Sewell, even though they just traded for Isaiah Wilson? If you're typing P for pass, maybe let me know another wide receiver you have in mind, because I do know Miami's either going to sign one or draft one. All right, so let's look at the depth chart here. Devontae Parker, he's your clear-cut wide receiver 1. Preston Williams, he's your wide receiver 2. I put Lynn Bowden Jr. at wide receiver 3 because at the end of the year, with all the injuries, with all the opt-outs, he was the dude playing the slot the most. Obviously, you can go in a lot of other different directions. Jakeem Grant, I thought, really stepped up pretty well. But the two players that I want to bring up here are Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson, and I'm going to stick here with Albert Wilson first. So he opted out in 2020. This has been a player that I have been anticipating and waiting for Miami to move on from him. If you cut him, it saves $2.85 million. Sure, you have to eat $2.33 million against the cap. However, I am a believer that Albert Wilson, he was probably one of their top receivers in 2019. But now they had a lot of other younger players, and now they're looking to receiver. Wilson, more than likely, is going to be going. Another receiver, this is one that's a little bit harder to wrap my mind around in terms of what Miami's going to do. Another opt-out in 2020. If cut, it does save Miami $767K. I mean, I wish I could save that much money, but to an NFL team, maybe not that much. $2.12 million dead cap it if they decide to move on. So how about this, y'all? If you had to pick one to cut out of those two players, who would you move on from? Would you move on from Albert Wilson? I want you to type W. If you're going to cut Allen Hurns, type H. Now, maybe in a perfect world, you could cut both W and H, but I want to be tricky. I want you guys to really think about it. Who would you end up cutting if you only cut one? Albert Wilson, type W, or Allen Hurns, type H?